Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to say call Alayim, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rukah Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone that taught us the truth. Shalom and salutations to the hopeful elect Akim out there that's spreading the gospel throughout the four corners of the earth, following the example that the apostles and the elders set, and present their bodies as a living sacrifice as the scripture teach us to do. Shalom to the very few sisters that do listen up and are edified as well. I'm the brother Yarmaya from the Great Millstone Chicago camp.
Brother Batakalo.
And basically the brother had something on his spirit. Do a quick lesson about a slight conversation that was had earlier with a young Edomite woman that we know, and we didn't get too deep with her, We just reflecting on some shit that was said earlier, and hopefully it's edifying. But go ahead, brother.
I'm going to bring the precept out first. It's Ecclesiastes 41:7. The children will complain of an ungodly father because they shall be reproached for his sake. In the conversation that we had with the young lady, basically she asked us the question on, 1 out of 10, how much we hated Esau. And, we explained to her whatever we thought. And basically the conversation then evolved to her saying that, any like her hatred for Esau as far as the straight Edomite male was a 10 out of 10 for her.
I fucking love that, man.
And basically it's becoming a crime to be that even among their own women. And you're really starting to see that even with the way that they, select mates, etc. But it's things are going downhill for this man, and it's happening rather quickly.
Get Deuteronomy 30:7. Because even just reflecting on talking to this young lady, one of the curses that was put upon us is that our woman's eye should be evil towards us. All right? And the Lord is throwing all this shit back on Esau. And he's doing it so poetically to where he is. He's taking the shit that Esau made look, that terrorized us with, like the word nigga, and flipping that on them. That's like one of the coolest shit, one of the coolest things to say in, so-called American culture. And he can't even say it. And he once said it freely, to shame us. Man, you say that shit just saying it slightly how you say it around a group of niggas in the street, around a group of Edomite women, man. Them bitches get wet. Just anything, man. Just any little thing. I'm just using that something slight like that as an example of how low the Lord is bringing these people and just how poetic it is, man. That's just one of many. It's just an analogy that's simple and everybody can understand. But go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 7. And Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee.
And Esau hates us the most, and he's our biggest enemy. He's our biggest enemy. That's why in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, and the 68th verse, he lets you know that we will be sold to our enemies. He didn't say our friends. He didn't say our cousins. He didn't say our companions. See, right now, we in the hands of our enemies, and they have a such thing called white guilt. Because this whiteness that they promoted is a falsehood. It's a false sense of reality, and it's self-proclaimed. And the Elder Malcolm always goes into that, how they took this title to themselves as white and associated everything that was white with good and black with bad when we was brown and they was red the whole time. Right. That's an inferiority complex and a superiority complex. All right, but now you have white guilt. This is like this black consciousness shit, right? Of course, it's idolatry and foolishness, right? And black is not our identity. We don't relate or associate that. The so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are the Hebrew Israelites of the Bible. But just say if I was to say black power, this is nothing behind it. It's about, a nigga just look at it and be like, oh, he just want to embrace his people, or he just zealous about, being a nigga. But if a motherfucker Edomite just said white power, it's so much atrocity behind that. It's so much graphicness behind that. slavery, rape, rob, murder, white supremacy. This is that white guilt. This is that white guilt. And this how you know you can't refute the fact that they socially engineered the whole world through idolatry and through witchcraft. And the Lord is being very poetic and throwing this shit right in their face, and I love it.
And you know, the brother mentioned guilt and, you know, that whole white ordeal that they labeled themselves with. And see, what they suffering from right now is the realization that their life is just a never-ending cycle of dissociative identity disorder. I got the definition for that right here.
Beautiful.
It's a dissociative identity disorder is characterized by the presence of two or more distinct personality identities. Each may have a unique name, personal history, and characteristics. See, these Edomites, they gotta act and carry the burden, quote unquote, of behaving like what TV tells you a white person is when they in public. But in reality, they Esau, they profane, they animals. And that's what their true nature is. So they always battling with the fact that they think and they taught that they supposed to be this superior individual. They supposed to be the most civilized people, but everything in their head is telling them to be a fucking animal, man. Mm-hmm. And just everything in reality, when they look at themselves in comparison, not just to Jake, but even to other heathens as well, they look at themselves in comparison to these people. And you have to be a fool not to acknowledge that the only reason that you are held in high esteem is artificial. It's propped up. It's not real. There is no real merit behind the position that they have. Mm. All of they traits that they supposedly got are fake. They supposed to be honorable. They supposed to be valiant. They supposed to be warriors. But you got niggas in America walking up and down the street protesting to stop the fight in Ukraine that say they Ukrainians, but they not over there with their boots on the ground. But they supposed to be warriors, though.
That's right.
Acting like bitches, man.
And that's why, you know, even just going back to how the lady was talking about the straight male or whatnot, you would never see a so-called MGTOW movement in the 1950s, 1960s, 1970s, not even the 1980s. You got these Edomites getting together talking about men going against women and shit like that because they women don't act right. That's the Lord with these curses, man. He's destroying everything about their image, man. Like, you know, the brother said, that's that witchcraft that, get the Revelations right quick. The drunk of the wine of the wrath of fornication. This is the mother of harlots, man. That's that witchcraft, man. And that's why in this society, that's why the whole society is geared like it's geared. And what I mean by that is, this is how you know this is Mystery Babylon the Great place of confusion. Going back to the prophet Isaiah, when you read Isaiah, the 5th chapter, and about the 20th verse, he said, woe to those that call good evil and call evil good. And that's what Esau did, man. That's why he gave you Christmas, Easter, Halloween, his goofy ass with blonde hair and blue eyes talking about the Lord and the people of the Bible. That was the greatest evil that was called good. And now he know he can't live up to that, man. He has walking around. He can't walk around and even act like that deviant. What's that little cartoon? Moral Oral. That's E, man. Fucking dork.
And the Lord is so cold because the fall is way harder when you are being taught your whole life that you're supposed to be the people of the Lord, and you got to really look in the mirror and you really got to accept the fact that just on every level you ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, we could just take the spirit out of it. Esau not even carnally greater than nobody. Jake even better at being wicked than these goofy ass niggas, man. And that's nothing to brag about. That's not. I'm just saying that proves that they the base of men. You want me to start at 3?
Let me see. You just start at 1. The point at 3.
Revelation 18:1. After these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. Mm-hmm. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird.
Exactly, because this place is under the management of the so-called white man. Go ahead.
Verse 3, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies.
You see that? So all nations have drunk off the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And that's why even when you read, I think it's in Apocrypha, he said, I think it's in Baruch, he said, no, it could be in Maccabees. What nation have not took part in our spoils? See, so they got rich, you know. They got rich off this. You know, they took a part in this America. That's why they're going to weep for it, because they got rich off America. But one of the biggest things getting rich off America, they capitalized on Jake, right along with Esau, man. They capitalized on Jake. All these nations have been drunk. All these nations have been allured to thinking that the so-called white man, woman, and child is the greatest thing that has ever existed. And all of them are finding out it's the absolute lie. We getting our identity back, man.
And see, the one who's actually been fooled the worst is you Edomites, and this is how these elites,
outside Salakia, outside of Jake, you Edomites.
This is how these elites cut you everyday average Joe Edomites out the equation and made you two-time losers, because these elites don't walk around worrying about carrying the burden of being white, because they know who they are. They boast in the fact that they descendants of Cain. And it's people that are actually close to these people that have blew the whistle on them and acknowledged that that's what they refer to themselves as. And this is in books and everything. They don't worry about having to keep up fake veneers, man. They just live and wallow in wickedness, man. And roll around in wickedness, man. They don't give a fuck. You motherfuckers that's walking around here every day that gotta pretend to be high and mighty E are the ones that are really losing, man. Because you can't never win like that. It wasn't made for you to be righteous and clean, man.
That's right. You gotta get Sirach 10 and 8. And we can end it with that unless you got more.
Nah, you good. I'm gonna get that and then we can call them. Hold on.
Because that's what's going on. But, you know, when and this young lady, we knew her for a little while now. And you know, around, of course not, because it's not wise at all to do that. You know, we don't walk around talking about the Lord or, you know, the Bible or anything amongst that. This is just very genuine, very random, and it's the pattern of the earth right now, man. That this man is just finished, man. But go ahead.
The book of Sirach, chapter 10, verse 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another.
And that's what you witnessing. You know, and this place was gotten by deceit, and it's a judgment that comes with that. That's why he said the land cannot be cleansed of the blood except by the blood of him that shed it. You know, and King David even prophesied about walking in the valley of the shadow of death. That's this place. Who fucked this place up? Esau did it. That's why when you read the book of Job, he prophesied about it. He said, well, I'll go in the land of darkness, where darkness as is light. This is that place, and this is the man who fucked the earth up. That's why the scriptures say he's going to destroy him that destroyed the earth. You got something else?
I want to say one thing about something you said earlier.
Go ahead.
He had mentioned this MGTOW thing, and I'm going to just say this for all you Jakes that's listening, man. That's not for Jake, man. You getting tired of the way women deal, get you a white woman or a heathen woman, man. That MGTOW shit is for E, man.
Yeah.
Leave a black woman alone, you won't be no MGTOW.
That's a good point. You know what? I wanted to actually mention that when I said it, man. You know, because that ain't, even Elder Malcolm had said that one day we was in a random conversation. That ain't no thing for Jake, man. You know, but that just show you, man, Esau's a joke and a two-pump chump, and he finna get through in the dump.
Yeah.
All right, with that being said, call Alayim, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah Kadash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone who taught us this truth, and to the hopeful elect Akim out there, Shalom.
Shalom.